And this is the City of Moose Jaw's Notorious Jawcast. I'm Craig Hemingway, Communications Manager, and joined by our City Manager, Jim Puffalt. Jim, thanks for taking the time.
Craig, a pleasure as always.
We are recording this a few days after the September 8th City Council meeting, and a number of important items that were passed by our council at the September 8th meeting. And let's start with the approval of the city signing a memorandum of understanding with our two school boards, Prairie South School Division and the Holy Trinity Catholic School Division, in regards to the West Heath land, the proposed site by the school Ministry of Education for the brand new joint use school.
A great project. As we know, I know the city was very excited when it was announced that there was a new school coming for South Hill. And a little bit surprising to us that West Heath was the location chosen. And it's really a little bit of concern to us, right? Because that's our next phase of development that we go when we need to. And they were talking of 10 acres being taken out of production. And as you know, when we do land development, there's an opportunity, we generate revenue that goes into the next land development. So we're a little bit disappointed about potentially having to give up that revenue, because it's really important for us as we go forward. Land development pays for itself, so there's really no taxpayer money comes into that, and we use all the funds that we generate from land development sales go into the next land development sale. So we expressed those concerns to the ministry and to the local schools, and we started a little bit rocky, but found a way to work together to find a fair and reasonable solution for both parties. And so really it was the schools and the ministry chose that location. As a city, that's not our main area of expertise, is determining where a school should go. We do land development. And so we were able to express our concerns with each other and then find a way to work our way towards getting them into the location that they wanted, which was their choice for the school, which in their mind was the absolute best location. Greenfield's location lots of times is a great opportunity to do something brand new. You're not constricted by development around you. And so we were able to find, make a great MOU that the city does not lose any money. We sell the land at appraised value. We get our off-site development levies, and that's about $650,000, $670,000 altogether for the land sale. The ministry will do all the servicing of Wellington Road from the existing dead end on the west side to the existing dead end on the east side. So they join that road together. And as any developer, we would say to them, you're not going to be able to dead end services. So you're going to have to connect that street together. And so that's at their full cost. And then in partnership, we will take the cost of actual servicing the lots into the services coming down the street. We retain those lots, and there's about 28 there, and we haven't seen the final concept plan yet. And so in the end, we'll have 28 lots that are available for sale by a brand new school. I think it's going to be a totally exciting subdivision. Who wouldn't want to be there? And we are made whole. In essence, we gained the profit that we would have made off the land deal, and the school has a brand new school in the location. We found a solution that resolved it for both parties and a fair deal for both. So, it took a lot of work and a lot of discussion back and forth, but we're glad, when you have willing parties that want to find a solution, you're able to find that. So we're pretty excited. We're pumped that, we're able to do this, and, the school construction will start, we suspect, next year, and it'll be here before we know it. And so it's an exciting opportunity for the city as a whole. And then the city generally is that, again, we were able to find a way to ensure that we didn't lose any money on the deal.
And as you mentioned, it was only a few years ago, our council of the day approved a concept plan for West Heath phases 5 and 6. That was housing development. Did not include a school. The province is going to replace that with then a new concept plan that, of course, will incorporate the new school. Again, to again the whole point about nothing lost on this deal, right?
Yeah, great point. They're actually giving us 2, not 1, but 2. Concept plans to work with to develop the area around the school. So again, I think that gives us an opportunity, doing a development, to be creative when you have a school. And so, quite honestly, I see it as, opportunity almost the same as a development that has a lake inside or a creek system. It's just a great opportunity to do something a little bit unique, a little bit something different for the city of Moose Jaw. And, it's exciting. when we put the concept plan together, there really was no demand for lots at that time. And so we were ready to go when we needed to. And of course, the school moved it up sooner. And that's, again, a great opportunity to do something unique for Moose Jaw that benefits everybody, the kids that will have a brand new school to go to, the construction trades, everything else in the city itself. So, I mean, what a great project and what a great opportunity to work with other levels of government. And as I said, when everybody has a willingness to work together to find solutions, we can do that.
City Council at the September 8th meeting voted to provide gift cards to customers who had purchased tickets to a few events at Mosaic Place that were canceled: ZZ Top concert, the High Valley concert, and there were also 3 Moose Jaw Warriors games that were canceled due to COVID-19. Ticket Rocket had been the city's the third-party ticket provider to events at Mosaic Place, and a couple of things, of course. The city around that time, shortly after that time, actually ended the relationship with Ticket Rocket, but they had promised to provide refunds to those ticket holders. That had not happened yet, has not happened yet. It doesn't appear that's going to happen. Hence, council was faced with the decision to do something or potentially do something, and they did. So I guess, can you talk about the process and what went into making that recommendation to council about the gift cards?
Well, certainly, and again, I would just say off the bat, it was not a promise that Ticket Rocket made. They had a legal obligation to pay the ticket purchasers, and so we're very disappointed that they would not come through and do what they were obligated to do. And so I've curtailed my comments on that to some degree, as I really feel that we worked fairly reasonably with them. They always came through and were doing what they promised they would do. It took them a little time sometimes, but they did come through in the end. And this one, they just left it holding left the city being somewhat morally responsible to do something. We don't have the money. They kept the money in their accounts. And that's why the settlement with them was, if you're not going to give us the money to pay out the ticket holders, you're legally obligated, then you pay it and not leave the city holding the bag. So not impressed with this at all, but in the end, it shouldn't be the poor people that bought tickets that are out of pocket. And so we wanted to give something back that we could, knowing that we didn't have the money at all. We know that some people have been able to get refunds through their credit card companies. And certainly we are suggesting to everybody, if you haven't already, do that. See if it's even possible still if you went through credit cards. And if not, we are going to be able to contact the people directly and give them the information on how the process is going to work. There's going to be an affidavit that people will have to fill out to verify to us that they haven't got a refund from somewhere else. And then we'll be able to offer a gift card to an upcoming concert or event. And again, sometimes money is the object, but in the end, there's a moral obligation. That's why we try to advise council on and made that recommendation that we have to do something. Morally it's right. Public relation wise, the city of Moose Jaw and Mosaic Place has taken a hit on something like this. And again, not our fault. I mean, DFFH signed an agreement in good faith with this company. They didn't follow through, and we're not the easiest to deal with at the best of times. That is what it is. In the end, we believe that it could have been much, much worse. As we know, we had the Scotties earlier this year, and lots of discussion about making sure that the payments were received by us in a timely fashion so we could pay back to Curl Canada. So certainly a bad situation all around. We've tried to find a way that we can give something back to those people that bought tickets, and we're sorry it just can't be cash, but a gift card that you're able to use, same value. If the next time we get ZZ Top coming in, you have that gift card still, you'll be able to use it to get tickets to the next concert. So I know it's not cash, and I wish it could have been cash, but if we held the money, it would have been easy to make that refund, but we didn't. And so this is again a way that we can give something back to the community and the people that bought tickets, and I think rectify our help our reputation along. And I think as we talked about that night and some of the concerts, we buy the concert and then there's always tickets available, and quite a bit opportunity for a lost leader approach is that, you know, we're paying the band, we're paying the stagehands, we're paying the lighting, we're paying everything that you need to put on a concert. If there's some seats available, we can give free tickets. It really doesn't cost us any money, but the people get, you know, basically their value back. They're getting into a concert. They get something for it. So again, it's not the best situation, but it is a good solution, we think.
And Spectra Venue Management, who may manage Mosaic Place, they will be contacting ticket purchasers. That contact information would have come when the tickets were purchased. They will reach out to the customers and get that process going with the plan, the procedure, the affidavit, everything that needs to be handled to issue that gift card. Spectra will be looking after that.
Yes, that'll be coming from Spectra, and as you mentioned. When the tickets were sold, we had that database of ticket holders, none of their personal information, obviously, other than an email address. And so we'll be sending information to people on how to get their gift cards, the affidavit that'll have to be filled out, and the actual procedure. And obviously, we want to get that out the door as soon as we can. And so, you know, people have waited quite long enough, and, you know, they need to find a resolve to this situation.
Coincidentally, at the September 8th meeting, another item on the agenda was the approval of Pacquiolin being the new ticketing company to serve Mosaic Place. And I know you were on the committee that helped look at all those proposals. What can you tell us about Pacquiolin and why this deal is good for the city and Mosaic Place?
Well, we're excited. There was, you know, really good response to our RFP that was ran by our legal department, and we talked about that night of having the additional legal resources allows us to do a lot of things like derelict buildings and putting RFPs out. And so, you know, we put out the RFP, great responses back. 2 companies were leading the way, but in the end, we chose Pacquiolin. Really, the thing that put in my mind gave them the advantage over the other company was the opportunity to be the Saskatchewan regional ticketing representative for Pacquiolin. So what that means is that we're able to go to other events and talk to them about ticketing companies and an opportunity for them. You know, lots of times at smaller places, us included, it's hard to find a ticketing company that you can depend upon. We've just, as you know, gone through some pretty difficult situations, and so we wanted to ensure that we had a company that we could work with. The money came to us, that was huge for us, and that there was an opportunity for us to make money off the ticketing company, or with the ticketing company, as you know, as the Saskatchewan representative. So we're totally excited. We've already talked to some companies about the opportunity, and we'll be going along with that. So, you know, it's really a robust system. There's a huge back end that helps us out in Mosaic on analytics and who's buying tickets and all the other stuff and promotions. And on the front end, I think people will find that it's a really simple way to buy a ticket online, you know, download the ticket to your phone, you can print them off. There's a ton of opportunities for people. So we're really pumped because it's been, quite honestly, a long haul with the previous company, and we're excited to work with a new company that's North American, has, you know, number of facilities across the country and in the United States. And we're not dependent upon you know, a smaller regional company that doesn't maybe have the resources to be able to manage a COVID-19 pandemic and the impact it has on their resources.
Well, certainly, we're all looking forward to a time when restrictions are lifted and we can get back to having events at Mosaic Place. And when that time comes around, it will be Pacquiolin, the ticket provider for those events. You mentioned legal counsel at the city of Moose Jaw, and I guess we'll even backtrack that a bit. That was a new position created recently through budget, which has allowed us to do many other things in-house, legal-wise. And you mentioned derelict properties, and derelict properties has become a hot topic here in the city recently, especially with a particular property, and it was addressed in council a number of weeks back. And then at the council meeting on Tuesday, a letter from the Provincial Ombudsman was presented in regards to the city of Moose Jaw and the measures we've taken in trying to deal with derelict properties, and that one in particular, and their, I guess, ruling or thoughts on how we handled that particular situation. And so can you describe, I guess, you know, give us the Coles Notes version of what their response was, and then we'll go into, you know, what we try and do in those cases.
Yeah, in essence, we were able to provide the Provincial Ombudsman our complete file, and I think As I mentioned on Tuesday night at the council meeting, there's lots of times that we can't say things publicly, with regards to legislation like protection of information and that type of thing. So lots of times we can't say things publicly that we're doing. We have to be very careful about what information we provide to people. We're obligated, as is any government, to follow legislation, and so that's what we do. And with regards to that, we can't comment publicly on a lot of things. Sometimes there's letters to the editor, and sometimes when it becomes excessive, we feel that we have to be able to say something, and that's what we did in this case. Provincial Ombudsman's office reviewed our complete file. Their information indicated that they felt that the city had managed the process properly, that they had looked after the both information confidentiality of both the property owner and the complainant. It was a 3-page report that went through the entire file, and in the end they concluded that the city met its legal obligation to provide the property owner with reasonable administrative fairness in accordance with the law by offering the property owner an appeal process and negotiating reasonable timelines for completing any outstanding work on the property. We also found that City of Moose Jaw responded appropriately to the complaints about the property while maintaining its obligation to ensure the privacy of the property owner. Since the formal complaint in August of 2018, the city has actively ensured that inspections have been completed and the work is done on the offending property. It has applied the legislation, regulations, and bylaws correctly. It has responded in a timely and reasonable manner and has offered sincere apologies when appropriate. So again, it's always good to get confirmation from independents that you're doing the right things. And as I said, many times, and as I stress all the time, we want to get better every day. And so we will take away and learn from this process, and obviously want to let the community know that there's ways to get things done, and trying to pressure and publicly embarrass the city into something is generally not the way to do something.
So yeah, and the takeaway there are steps residents can take, because we understand these things can drag on, and both parties have rights, and that can result in a long drawn out issue that sometimes that can be frustrating. But so I guess what you mentioned, a couple of them there. There are steps at least that residents can take to try and advance these sorts of issues, correct?
Absolutely. First of all, we are very responsive. We think we have the app now that is an easy way for people to get information to us. And and if you're not happy with what we're doing, send me an email and I'll make sure it gets to the proper places and we'll take a look at it. But unfortunately, sometimes we just can't do what people want. It's not possible sometimes to circumvent laws or to change things to suit one person. So we have to, again, we have to be consistent in our approach to government, and that is to be consistent in how we apply the laws and how we deal with it. And if we're going to make changes, how we make changes in a systematic, logical manner. And we can't, make emotional decisions or knee-jerk reactions to things. We have to be careful, logical, and a rationed and measured approach to how we make changes. And it's not to say that we can't. We make changes all the time. If something isn't working, we'll find a way to make it better. There's no question about that. And we're very excited for those opportunities to be better at what we do, because that's what people expect from us.
City Manager Jim Puffalt, thank you for your time. We will let you get back to being a captain of the Starship Enterprise.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Live long and prosper, if I could do that.